Hello and welcome to another edition of Really, I'm a Grandparent. I'm James Lott Jr., your host and grandparent. I'm drinking my super grandpa mug the kids gave me a couple of years ago. It's a little chipped on one part somewhere, but so am I. And now I'm bringing you guests. It's people who are doing things who are the younger grandparent set. They're around my age and they're doing things outside of life. They're still living their lives fully. And this is the YouTube world, folks. I didn't join YouTube until about 6 years ago, 7 years ago. I didn't know what it was. And then I found out what it was, about all that. And now, of course, I have my own network, JLJ Media. Well, these folks are doing the same thing. And they're a part of a large number of people who are starting to, us Gen Xers especially, are starting to go on YouTube and share what they know and share what fun things are happening. Because you have a lot of choices out there, folks. But this is people I think you should be choosing to watch. They call themselves the fun chasers. And they like fun just like the rest of us. And they have some really fun videos with some of the food stuff. I'm always hungry after I watch them. And travel, places I've never been before. But I think for a lot of, especially during these last couple of years of being locked down or not able to travel as much, you can go somewhere else without having to leave the comfort of your home. And I want you to introduce you to John and Pam Kane, the Fun Chasers. Hi, guys.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the show. So I was saying that I didn't know about YouTube. I mean, YouTube came out whenever it came out. I didn't know about it the first couple of years. I wasn't part of it. But some of the younger sets, I think it was my daughters or somebody, was like, there's a thing called YouTube. And I'm like, okay. But it's like these little cat videos and things. I'm like, well, I don't watch those. But then when I came on, I saw there was a lot of stuff on there. Do you remember about when you realized there was a YouTube? Do you remember?
It was probably close to 10 years ago. And it's only because one of our sons said, Mom, you got to put stuff up here because, this is what we're doing. And it was mostly band videos because they were both in high school band. And so we would take band videos and put them up on YouTube. And then the rest of the kids in the band would watch them and everyone was happy. That was pretty much the extent of it. Nobody could make money on it then, it was just like, whatever. We're still not making money, but
right. Were you guys always filming your kids' performances and stuff when they were growing up?
Well, we didn't film them because we didn't have, adequate video cameras. But I have so many snapshots. I had a really good Nikon DSLR, and we took if you'd see the wall in my house, in my living room, the entire living room's full of pictures, and you can't see the wall because of the pictures. And now that the grandkids have come along, that's what we're putting up there now, because one picture isn't good enough.
We started in an analog world where it was very expensive to take bad pictures.
Yeah. Yes.
We took so many bad pictures of the band.
But we had to get better.
Yeah.
So that's what we've done.
No, you're right about that, you guys. With my kids, I have tons of pictures, of course. I had to send them in to get developed because I didn't know how to develop pictures myself. Then you send me into Kodak and all those places. And then all you guys, did you guys do the whole when Shutterfly and all that stuff came around? Did you guys do that too? Yeah.
We still do, but we haven't sent to our local photography printer place. We send them, I don't know, either CVS or Walmart, and we can pick them up in an hour after doing it on Snapfish or Shutterfly. We can send it right over to them. Yep. Yeah,
Snapfish, Photo, Shutterfly. I remember all those. But I remember going back in time. I remember it was Kodak. I forget the other one that you always put them in little things, mail them off. It was Clark's, I think was one. Clark's. I remember. Yeah. I remember those.
Yeah, 9-cent prints. That's what they would sell.
Yes.
9 cents.
Yes.
Yep.
I remember that. I do remember that. Folks, yes, we're old. I remember that stuff. And you had to wait. But it was funny. We had to wait. Even like when the 1 hour photo came, that was a big deal. I mean, it was a big deal. You get 1 hour.
Because it used to take a week. It used to take a week to get your pictures back, and it was like Christmas. It's like, oh, look, we got pictures. Oh, that one's awful. Oh, that one's awful. Oh, she took a picture.
Too, right.
My mother took pictures of people's butts all the time.
Well, it was always the finger was in the way too. So it was like the thing was where's James? That's a great picture, but I don't see James. Okay, that was always
that was it. Yeah.
That is so.
And you know what's sad is that wonderful DSLR that I have, that beautiful Nikon with the wonderful lenses, is old, and I don't have a computer that will accept it any longer. So we do everything with our phones now.
I know there's no adapter. You couldn't find it. You couldn't go on. You couldn't find an adapter. It's too old.
Yeah, because the Mac that I'm using right now it's cloud-based. It doesn't take a USB cord anymore. So I have a way to download pictures off of my Nikon. Sadness.
That's okay. Some future Christmas present's going to be a new Nikon body that'll take the lenses.
There you go. Exactly.
I love this plan. I like little boxes. They're fun.
Yeah, they're fun. They're fun. But isn't that funny? I remember when I first got my first cell phone, there was no texting, there was no pictures. But I remember when the other later versions started coming out, and I was like, no, I want my phone separate. I want my camera separate. I had a digital camera, I had my phone separate. Now, I mean,
yeah, weren't we snobs? Honestly, and I was one of those people because in a former life, I was a videographer for a TV channel, right? Yep. And so, you do not mix the mediums. Yep. That doesn't happen. You do not shoot video with a DSLR. Oh, no. And to shoot video with a phone, sacrilege.
Right. I agree.
I've changed a little.
Me too. Clearly we've changed. We're on here right now. Clearly we've changed a little. That's kind of funny. Okay, so I mentioned grandkids because we are part before we get into what you guys do. So you have 4 grandchildren, and so
we have five now.
5. That's what you have. 5. Little baby kids. Okay, so when did you first what age were you when you first became grandparents?
Well, it was 6 years ago, so I was 54. 54 when I first became a Grammy. And she's the one that named me because I was good with being a Grammy. But Rosalind decided to say Mimi first. And so Mimi it is. I am a Mimi.
Good stuff.
And this is Pappy. Pappy and Mimi.
Pappy. I like Pappy. Okay. I'm Papa, but I like Pappy. Okay, I like that. I know it's funny because nowadays, because I became grandparent years ago, but it was funny, but Papa wasn't really common yet. Now Papa's used for for fathers and grandfathers. But I was one of the first Papas. Yeah. I was Papa Jamie. That's who I am, Papa Jamie, as they know on the show. They couldn't say James. Kids couldn't say James, so they say Jamie. Because it sounds like daddy, mommy, whatever.
Yeah.
But being named is a big deal. I'm noticing a lot of, especially younger grandparents, they're like, I don't want to be grandmother or grandma or grandpa or grandfather. So I just always like to ask you, you tell me you're Mimi, which is, so I'll do all the kids besides the baby. We all call you Mimi?
They all do, because Rosalind has explained it to them.
Oh, okay. Oh, girl.
This is Mimi, and that's what you call her,
Now, are you guys mom and dad to your kids? Or mommy and daddy? Or what are you to kids? Your kids?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Are you mom and dad or mommy and daddy?
Oh, yeah, mom and dad. It's mom and dad. Yeah. Occasionally they call us Pam and John, but that's only when they're annoyed.
Yeah.
Like that. What's funny for me is that my mother, I call her by her name Bonita, which means beautiful in Spanish. But I call her Bonita all the time. People are like, you don't call her mommy, and I go, only when I'm sad. When I grew up, I had a godmother who I called her mommy. I don't know why, but she was mommy, and my biological mother was her name. So for years, my mother didn't care. She didn't bother her. People would get so annoyed by that kind of. No one else got annoyed. It was so funny. So just always growing up, it's like, so the other weird. I should make this caveat. My godmother was Chinese, so they were very confused. That I was calling her mommy, but not the mother who looks just like me, mommy. So they're all confused. But like you said, like Rosalind, I made my own rules, and that's how it was.
Uh-huh. Yep. She has figured it out for all the rest.
Yes.
She's excited about that. She'll be happy to tell you all about it sometime.
Yes, I know her father, so I do.
I know you do, and he's always so quiet too.
Right. No, he's very demure and quiet. And folks, you don't realize their son, Rick Kane, is on several of my audio dramas here on JLJ Media, ranging from Claws the series to the story. He plays the famous Jackie, who's like the barista, salad maker, restaurateur in every show that I do. All the cats love him. So here's another JLJ Media connection. So we love Rick Kane. So, and ironically, on our show, we have Canes on our shows, but he doesn't play a Kane. So that's the ironic part. He has a different last name. Okay, so you're out there living your lives, jobs, whatever, and then you come across this YouTube channel, and you have video. But then what I found about you guys are actually posting some travel stuff, and also we'll get to each section of it. But what made you decide after your sons were like, you should post stuff, and beyond the band stuff, what made you decide to post these first we'll say travel videos? They were kind of first.
Well, and I don't know. He probably wants to talk, but
Tell me, John.
She did get it started because a number of years ago she started writing travel articles for Good Sam's. It goes into their giant catalog of campgrounds.
Yes. Yeah.
And she's had well over 100 writing assignments. So that kind of put the idea in her head to have a blog. So we started to write blogs about our adventures, and blogs just evolved. Yeah, it wasn't to be YouTubers. It was to promote the blog that we started posting those first couple ones as kind of a promotional way to bring people over to the blog. And now it's kind of evolved into this Frankenstein where it's blog and vlog both at the same time.
Yeah, so the YouTube channel takes more time from our lives than what the blog does. And I might be a little negligent on the blog these days, but working on it. But yeah, the YouTube channel has just, I have that background in video, and that's what I've always wanted to do my entire life. And so now I'm, my real job doesn't allow me to do that. So I do it in my spare time, and it's a blast. It's a blast.
And see, and that's why when people hear this and watch, so you watching it, is that you could be doing other stuff. You could be at work, doing your day thing. But if you could always find time to do something like this also. It's like they're doing it. They're actually doing it. They're putting up videos. They're doing it. You can too. It's like it could be an also to what your life is, not just, I guess I should wait till I finish working that job. Like, no, you could do it now. And it doesn't be anything huge or extravagant or big, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Right. So yeah, we're working up to our escape plan. That's what I keep calling it. So, and I can give you exact seconds, but about 4 years from now, I'm going to retire. And the plan is to be able to go out there for a month or so at a time. Maybe even come visit you, James. Who knows? Yeah. We might make it to California.
Come on out. Come on out.
Dinner.
You guys, my thing is, when you do retire, drive cross country. It's such a wonderful experience, and come to the West Coast, end here, and then take your time here, and I'll show you the beach, and I'll take you to our famous Pink's hot dogs, and all the different things you can have for your make content for your channel. Folks, all we'll do is make content for their channel. That's what we do.
That's what we'll do.
That'd be a great idea. But I think that's that's kind of a fun thing, is that you're actually working towards something after work, so to speak.
Yes.
That can be fun, that everybody's doing. I mean, I think it's one of those things. I mean, that's all the time. There's a lot of choices out there, folks. I know that. But you guys offer something, like I said, I've never seen some of these places before. I've never even heard of these places before. They even had a place they went to called Intercourse. An actual city, folks. Let's go watch. Go to their channel, see where Intercourse goes. Or it does. But like places I've never heard before. So I forgot this. So where are you guys located now? To give people a little context. Where are you guys located now?
Well, we're actually in the center of Pennsylvania. I mean, smack dab right in the middle. If you take a pin and stick it in the center of the map, that's where we live. We're about 35 miles south of State College, which is home to Penn State University, Big Blue. And we've got Racetown Lake, which pulls about 2 million visitors a year into it. It's the largest man-made lake east of the Tennessee Water Authority. And that's where we live. We have a lot of green around us. There's a lot of trees.
It's like the baby Ozarks.
Baby Ozarks.
I like that, baby Ozarks. Yeah. She's like, no, I don't know about that, but
I like the TV show though.
Yes.
I was like, really? So folks, watch their channel. No.
It might be, I don't know.
But here's the thing. So I'm from Pittsburgh, so it's a western part. There's a lot of greenery back there. I'll tell you, there's a lot. It's Earth Day. As we're filming this, was Earth Day yesterday. I'm trying to bring the greenery to my yard here in Los Angeles because I miss the greenery. I do. I miss the greenery of the Mid-Atlantic and parts of the East Coast and some parts of the Midwest. I think it's greener when you get to Pennsylvania over. It's a little more greener. West Virginia's green. It's more greener. So I miss that. I really do. I love all the foliage. I just do. I love
Let me tell you real quick. I was on my way to work yesterday morning, and I have to go about 2 miles from here to pick up the company car. And as I got out of the car, there were about 7 white-tailed deer standing around the car. And it's like, so I'm talking to them. I talk to them almost every morning. This is where I live.
Okay,
and then I heard this squawk, right? And I looked up because something caught my eye, and a bald eagle landed in the tree just across the parking lot where there was a deer standing under it. That's where I live, James.
I love it.
It was the best morning of my life so far.
I love it. I do. I love it. Folks, you guys don't even understand. I know for people who've never seen things like that, it's like foreign to you. I've seen bits and pieces like, because I lived in the Midwest. So I miss it. I do. I miss it. I don't miss the weather, but I do miss the nature.
There's that.
I mean, it's going to be 90 degrees here today. So I don't tell you guys.
Yeah. Well, we had 5 inches of snow on Monday, and today it's going to be 75. So, if you don't want the weather, wait 5 minutes. It'll change.
Okay, so John, for you, what's it like being on camera?
I'm sorry?
What's it like being on camera?
Well, it's a little uncomfortable, to tell you the truth. It's taken some practice. It's even taken a lot more practice to take good pictures because I tend to move around too much. And it takes a while, and she's being the trained videographer and having a career in journalism. And a degree in journalism from Penn State. I'm the hack of the family.
You do fine.
Yeah, so I'm learning from the pro here to stand still and let the life flow before my lens, and it's getting better. We're finally getting this down where I think that we're going to be able to put out more and more quality videos to put people in the places. Since they can't go everywhere, it puts them in the place where they want to be, so they can decide maybe if they want to go to Boldt Castle, an amazing house that was built up in the Thousand Islands, or go to the Thousand Islands, and there's actually 1,800 of them. I didn't know that. Or New York City. I've been to New York City a number of times. We're just had our latest video on Central Park. Been there a dozen times and never went to Central Park. Wow. So we put that on our bucket list. Even got to Tavern on the Green on the cheap because of just like coffee.
I was going to ask you, I've never been there. I've seen it. I ain't never been there. Ain't been in there. So.
Yeah. $50 for dessert.
I know exactly. I've never well, I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's good. But no, you said something that I like, letting the life flow in front of the camera. That's I've never heard that said before. I love that. That's my quote of the episode. I love that because that's what it is. You're trying, and obviously Pam knows this. You're trying to capture life through the lens, literally. And so I think people sometimes forget that. Even in my own business, they forget that. Like, that's what you're trying to do. And you guys, I don't switch off because now John's also a star of many of the videos when it comes to the grilling stuff. And grilling and explaining how these smokers work. I mean, it's all stuff that just goes over my head. But I just look at the food and just go, I want to eat. So I'm seeing that, John, you're getting more comfortable doing that. Because is it because you just talk about something you know? You're talking about, you know about this, so you're talking about it? Does that make it easy?
Yeah, that makes it a big difference if you're able to find a subject you're comfortable with. And you're just sharing that as we would share it to a friend. And that's kind of the goal. We're hoping that the Fun Chasers will become a community. We're hoping that, when she retires in 4 years, that if we pull into a campground out in, maybe the Grand Canyon, that's on our bucket list, that people say, oh, the Fun Chasers, I've seen your video. That's that. Then we'll know that we were kind of getting close to hitting that mark.
It happened. It happened. It took me some years, but it happens to me. And I feel the same way. I always said I created the world I wanted to see. So I have this little community. They just folks, if you don't know this already, they just voted and named me that my world is called Lotties. So if you're a fan of James Lott Jr., you're a Lottie.
A lot. Okay.
They voted on that.
That's awesome. I guess I'm a Lottie.
A Lottie. That's it. But that was the whole point. Is that I'm like you guys. I was like, I want to create this community of people who they could come watch the videos. If I do something live, they come and they talk to each other. The fans will just talk to each other. Oh, it's you. Oh, it's you. And like I said, you go somewhere and you get recognized. Go, oh, I know you. I might not know who you are personally, but I've heard the name. I've had it a few times.
Right.
I've heard this. And so that part, yeah, that's a great idea. So when you go to campgrounds and travel places, they're like, oh, that's half the fun. That's the way we have the fun.
James, like you said last 2 years, the pandemic really, really brought into focus for me specifically. That pandemic was a certain kind of hell for an extrovert. Lordy.
Yes.
So, yeah, it really was. So, the fact that we could go someplace and make friends with total strangers, just to be able to sit and talk and share grandparent stories would just be remarkable, and I mean, we do it to a certain extent, but it's so small. It's a little tiny microcosm at this point. We'd like it to just be bigger.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Big.
Exactly.
Well, also another thing that I didn't really think about this until I did another show. That's why I love doing these shows. I learned stuff too. One of my guests said, for his kids and grandkids, he's creating a legacy, a video legacy.
Yes.
So after we're gone, where many people don't have this kind of stuff, they're trying to find a picture here and there of their grandparents. They go on YouTube. Oh, yeah, there's Pappy right there. Right? Isn't that crazy? I never done it before until we said, my kids and grandkids have a lot of stuff to see me on TV. They have lots of, but I never thought about that until they said it that way. I went, well, that's right. It's different than just a picture and a photo album or a memory. They actually can go on and go, they're my grandparents, and they're talking about going to intercourse. They're talking about. See the way I said that, folks? You see how I said that? But
embarrassing our kids for almost 40 years.
What?
Embarrassing our kids for nearly 40 years.
Exactly. It's perfect. It's totally perfect. But I never thought about that until they said that. I go, that's actually kind of, because once you do this, it's imprinted and it doesn't go anywhere. It's out there.
Right. Until
you take it down or whatever. But it's just out there. So this is actually a wonderful thing for them too, to see also that you guys were living your lives. You're trying something. Like you were trying something and you had some fun doing it. I think it's a great thing. Now, some of your biggest videos have been on the smokers, that whole community, I guess. And I know I have, and my brothers-in-law and all of them, they're all into that, like which charcoals to use. I mean, they're all into that. So, John, are you just like a master griller smoker? That's what you guys do back there in Pennsylvania?
I'm an educated amateur.
I like that. Yes.
I've watched a lot of the videos that are on YouTube, and you just sit there on some of those channels and keep on watching the better ones. And I keep liking and subscribing, and I'm hoping people come back will also like and subscribe what I'm doing. And I'm going to keep on adding. I've done ribs, I've done pulled pork, and I'm picky on my pulled pork. I don't like it all covered up with sauce. I like to do a dry rub where I can pull it apart, and then you can apply a little bit of it, but I want to be able to taste the smoke and the meat and really enjoy the 13, 14 hours I spent out there keeping an eye on it to make sure everything was at the exact right temperature.
Something we've got coming up, and it was actually per suggestion of a friend of mine named James. We have my next door neighbor, his name's Mark. Mark also does a lot of smoking next door. And so we talked to him just last night, and he's all in. We're going to do a smoke off over the next couple weeks. We're not quite sure what meat we're going to use, but that's okay. And then we're going to do, taste tests. And I have these boys in my life. And so these boys will probably be happy to come here and do a taste test of of said ribs or whatever it is that we make between Mark and John. And just spoiler alert, they're both going to win. Just thought I'd share.
I am trying to figure out how can I fly out there really quick to be part of this. I just come.
Just come.
A few weeks is my birthday, so I'm just thinking I should just come for my birthday.
Come, I'll even find a place for you to stay. It's not even a problem.
Yep. Oh my God.
You can stay here. It'd be all good.
Don't tempt me. I'm like, oh my goodness. I was like, oh,
James, you'd always, buddy, you would always be welcome. Not a problem.
I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. I'm excited for you guys. That was a suggestion of mine, so I'm very excited to see that come. Right. I mean, here's the thing: it's like people like food. They like food. And a lot of people like instructional type videos. They do. Like you said, you can watch them. So I want to ask you, John, for you, some of the videos you've seen were not that good. Can you tell me why you think they weren't that good?
Sometimes people talk more than they show.
There you go.
I recently did one on how to cure a lazy yellow flame on the smoker, and with LP gas, it attracts spiders. So every once in a while, you got to take your smoker apart and clean out the venturi tubes. And I imagine gas grills have the same problem, because if you get this lazy flame, you shouldn't cook on that. I have a feeling a lot of people look at that and say, oh, I'm going to just ignore that and throw the burgers on. But that's not giving you the same high heat that you would normally get, and it's not consistent, and it could have bad flavors also attached to it. Wow. So it was. Yeah, actually, I was able to fix it with a wire tie, if you can believe that. I took it apart and ran a wire tie through the venturi and came out with this little tiny spider web, and it worked perfect after I got that out. So, I mean, those kind of things, when I was trying to solve the original problem, there was nothing out there. So I said, after I fix it, next time this happens, and I'm sure it would, and I was going to film it so people would be able to understand what's causing this and how easy it is to fix it. You just have to pay attention to how you take something apart, because it directly relates to how you put it back together. You don't want extra parts left over.
Well, I'm gonna call you MacGyver, first of all, because you did spit and glue and you put it together. So MacGyver for you. We come from that generation where we're like, okay, what can I do to fix this? Let's see. I have a pencil and I have some tissue paper. I'm gonna figure this out. We're gonna run the car.
Yep.
That kind of thing.
Yep.
We had to do that as kids. We had to figure it out. They didn't have all this, so they had to figure it out. I like that. I like that. But he's right. There's when it comes to instructional videos or how to, or let me share with you some for takeaway. I think I do this videos where I organize junk drawers. I actually have the junk drawer with me, and we organize it together.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
I love it. But what you said, John, it's the whole thing of they want to see it. You can talk about it, blah, 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 but they want to see me. We do it together. And then at the end, you see how I did it. You actually see how I talk to the project. I take these things over here. I make piles. I do the whole thing. They're here on GLJ Media. You can watch them. They're my super organizer videos. Live videos, but always promoting live videos, JLJ Media. But they completely, people want to see what you're right. So they want to see, they may want to mirror you. They may go, okay, I need to know how to do it. So he's doing it. I'll try to follow the way he's doing it, or she's doing it. I feel like that's very smart of you. Actually, you guys are learning or doing things that a lot of folks in my business don't even take years to realize. Trust me.
Well, one of the things that helps me is I used to run the technical service department for a large nationwide distributor of gas heating appliances and kerosene heating appliances. And I had a staff in China and a small group here that would answer all the phone calls. And I would teach them how to answer all the easy questions. But
so he knows his stuff.
The really horrible questions for me.
Yeah.
So I got used to coming up with very quick answers to get people fixed and out of their bad situations so they can enjoy their new gas fireplace on Christmas Day, because that's what people want. They want their problem solved fast.
Yeah.
So that's what those instructional videos will be shorter in length, and we'll be trying to get people their solution as fast as we possibly can.
Now, Pam, what do you think makes a good little travel vlog? In your opinion?
I like going places that I've never seen before. And so I would think that other people would like to see places they've never been before too. So what I try to do is show the stuff that you wouldn't normally see, because that's what I always look for. When I'm out there doing stuff, I'm looking for places that aren't in the, the travel book, or I just like going places that are fun and unusual. And so that's what I try to shoot, like the behind the scenes things. Like one time, and we weren't allowed to take a camera, which is upsetting, but one time we got to go into the spillway portion of the dam that we live next to. All right, we got to go down 30 feet into the cement and see the inner workings of the rest of the dam. That's cool stuff.
That is.
And so we weren't allowed to take a camera, but maybe we will in the future. But anyway, that's the kind of stuff that I like to show. Like just this morning, we posted a video on what is called the New York High Line. It's actually a rails to trails. It's like a 2-mile trail, and it's fairly new. 2009, they started building it. And it's an old railroad yard, and it's cool. They've got this mall that's 5 stories high, and it's nothing but it's all glass. All the walls are made out of glass. It is ultra modern and really neat. We found an awesome restaurant there. We got to see all these. When they first took over, when CSX first gave away the rail line, said, "Yeah, we're abandoning it. Forget it. We don't want it anymore." There were trees and stuff growing up through the rails. They weren't using it, so trains couldn't run on it. And so they've used all of that natural landscaping basically, and they've added more, and it's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. If you ever get the opportunity, go to the High Line in New York City and just take a walk, because it's wonderful.
It's beautiful. It
really is.
It was an elevated railroad, so there was a lot of people that wanted to see it come down, and it was unused for 30 years
because it was an eyesore.
Yeah, and then they had a meeting where people got together and said, "Hey, what should we do here?" And everybody except 2 fellows sitting next to each other said we got to tear it down. And those 2 guys took up the lead, and they got access to it. And they got the chain broken by the railroad employees, and got up there, and they found all this vegetation, natural redbud trees growing up there, sunflowers. They couldn't believe how beautiful it was. So they hired a professional photographer to spend, I think it was a year up there, showing people the beauty. And they got millions of dollars in donations to fix this. So finally, the mayor said, "Uncle, I'm done. I'm not going to fight this anymore. We're not going to tear it down. You guys can take it over, but you've got to really take it over and finish it." And they've done a heck of a job.
It's beautiful.
They've opened it, 2 different sections of it, and they have a new section that they're going to connect the High Line to Penn Station. So we love finding. I tell you, it's probably. There's a lot of rails to trails, but this is probably the most beautiful, most unusual, and probably the most expensive rails to trails project in the nation. So if you want to see something really unique, you need to see that High Line when you get to New York City.
Yep.
I completely agree. I'm from New York, so I completely agree. It was a very interesting concept when I first heard about it. I know what part of town it's in. I was like, "Oh, it's interesting," and so the whole thing. So, but it's watch their videos out today, franchise watch video, because it's really good. I mean, it's funny because I come from New York, so watching your New York videos made me smile because I haven't been in I missed the pandemic. I've not been since pandemic. Last time I went was 2019. So I'm dying to go back, see my family, see the city. I love Central Park. I have family in Brooklyn. I have family. I can't wait to go back there. And New York to me is a very magical place. So it's like there's New York, there's LA, there's Chicago, there's Miami. There's all these little places. Even my old Pittsburgh, I do love my Pittsburgh. There's just certain places to me that just had a whole special, that have very interesting places within them also. That's the next point. So these fun chasers are chasing interesting areas. They're chasing unique areas.
Exactly.
And Central Park and the High Line are 2 very, very unique places. Central Park is so huge in the middle of the city. So it's like Upper West Side, Upper East Side separates the 2. It's this huge, long, this massive land in the middle of this urban concrete jungle. Like it's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing.
It was so beautiful though. Oh my.
Oh, yeah.
I am so happy I got to go there finally.
We only got through about a third of it. We'll be back.
Yeah, last time I was there was in the fall when the leaves were all changing, and it was just really beautiful.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah.
We don't have that in LA. Unfortunately, we don't have. I have one tree that changes leaves. I'm like, oh, that's my tree. And that's it. But the rest of them just fall off. They don't change. But that's the thing about this channel. I keep pushing this channel. That you're gonna see stuff you've just never seen before, and it's very unique because we have a beautiful country. I mean, people almost forget. There's 48 states in the mainland, and there's some beautiful parts of this country that you might even think about going to. Watch their channel, may change your mind. And I think you should see their slice of the world. I think it's I think it's we always want to go somewhere else. I do too. I like traveling outside of America, but we do have this big, beautiful country that has so many pockets of just of interesting places, right?
We do, yeah. A friend of mine, well, you started this whole ball rolling, James. You sent us your subscriber spotlight of LA, which was just awesome. And you saw the comments that came back from that. It was a lot of fun. And so another friend of mine, another subscriber, actually saw your video and said, hey, I'm in Nashville. Would you like pictures? It was like, yes. Now I haven't had a chance to download them all and put it together, but that's coming very shortly. And so we'll get to see Nashville through the eyes of Lori Nemec. And so she has done just an amazing job. And she's a little shy. She didn't want to be on camera.
That's fine.
We took a ton of pictures, and so we'll be putting those out there for everybody to take a look at, because I've personally never been to Nashville. And looking forward. She went to the Grand Ole Opry. She went apparently there's this graveyard where all the famous country western stars are buried, and they've got these immense gravestones and mausoleums.
Ornate and everything. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, and apparently there's music playing, and it's like, whoa, this is just the coolest thing.
2 days before the CMA Awards?
Yeah, she was there for the CMA Awards, so she got to walk in front of the stage. She obviously didn't have tickets to see the CMA Awards, but she got to see the stage and where everybody was, and the place was just buzzing.
Yeah, jumping.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, folks, that's the thing. I love that. Yes, I did. So if you guys were curious for you Lotties out there, I did a video for them showcasing parts of the southwestern part of Los Angeles. And that's the point. I do my show, the Really Quick James Lott Jr. show every Saturday, where that's my video vlog, where I take you with me places. And I think that's one of the things that people like to see, like to go with you. They like you said earlier, you're with the world immersed with them. They want to see it through your eyes. So I try to show you my parts of LA you may not see in the movies or see on TV or see in shows. It's like just everyday Los Angeles. And that's what the comments were just like, I never saw LA, this kind of part of LA before. I'm like, I'm showing you, I'm on the train. I'm like showing you this is what I do regular day. Like it's parts of LA that's not just the beach or not just Hollywood sign or not just it's these cities, and where you guys live, I used to say there's so many other parts to, you think of New York, you don't think of the High Line, you think of Central Park, you think of the Statue of Liberty. It's like certain you think of, but there's all these other places too that are popular back there that you should go to also. And I think that's why we're here. We're here to show people there's a lot to see out there. There's a lot to see out there.
Now, speaking of trains, and since this is a grandparent show, you guys will all probably appreciate this, I hope. I have a 3-year-old grandson. His name's Jackson. And Jackson to say he's excited about trains is like an understatement. So
it's like he looks at ice cream, and I can't get enough.
Trains,
I love it.
So we will be putting out a train video for just for Jackson. It'll be Jackson's train video.
But actually, a fun thing is train spotting. There's a whole eclectic little tiny group out there that goes around and spots trains, and they record them, and they get together and talk about old trains. And there's still antique rolling stock out there being used in modern railroad transportation, and there's actually apps out there to show what live trains that right now have antique rolling stock on it, so people know where to go to take pictures. So it's kind of cool. So
something we have,
it's a hobby.
actually, believe it or not, here in my county, Huntington County, Pennsylvania, we have one of the oldest steam locomotive. It's a narrow gauge steam locomotive rail line. It's called the East Broad Top, and it's about, I don't know, half hour south of where we live. And I have some still pictures of that because they haven't run the trains for a very long time, but it was just purchased by a conglomerate group that is putting the railroad back together. And from what I just heard 2 days ago, that one of the steam engines, and they've got 11 steam engines that are original, built. The last one was built in 1911. Anyway, point here is that they've got one of them, I think the youngest from 1911, ready to roll down the tracks again. And so that'll be pretty neat once we can get those pictures. I have a lot of stills, and so probably what I'll be doing is including those stills in our train video for Jack.
I said I didn't know this. So I am a train rider out here. So I actually have some train videos that I did that were very popular on my show. So I will have to forward them to you.
Absolutely.
I'm an Amtrak person. I do take trains, and I've taken trains on the train and off the train. I do all the kind of stuff. So I will have to send you some of those videos. I just get a little note to myself, send you some of those videos so you can look at. Maybe he'll like those. But I have a lot of fun. I love training. I love training. Yeah, I love training. Well, trains are very popular either back east. We do a lot of trains up the coast, or out here in the west. We do a lot of training to like Albuquerque, Denver, Montana, up and down I do a lot of training, so it's a lot of fun. I love it. I just watched a train video. This guy who does, his name is Trek Trendy. I'll give another shout out to another YouTuber. He usually does airplanes. He did his first train video, and it was huge. So you're right. There's a whole community that's into trains, or locomotive, I should call it. What do they call it? Locomotive. There's a whole thing about that, right? And so I guess here's let me just break it all down for you guys. There's something for everybody. I guess that's the whole deal. There's a group for everybody. You and I, as content, because you guys are content creators now, as content creators, we're trying to find that community, right? That's what we're trying to hook into that community. But basically, that's the whole point that we're saying. There's a smoker community, there's this community, there's a foodie community. That's what it is. And that's what's so great about YouTube. You literally can find what you're looking for on YouTube. But this episode, I want you to look for the fun chasers. That's what you're going to look for. And watch their videos. You guys, thanks for being on the show. I can talk to you guys forever, but my shows are a certain amount of length, so that's it. That's all I think.
Thank you, James. Yeah. So please subscribe, like, and share the Fun Chasers.
I will put it in the description. Link to go right to their channel. Subscribe while you are there. And then start checking out some of their videos. And check out mine first. Check out mine first. It still goes to them. So you check out me, but then check out their other videos. So, come for me, but stay for them. That's what you guys want to say.
There you go.
That's how we'll end the show. Come for me, but stay for them. Go over there and support them. And they're called the Fun Chasers. You can find them easily. And they're also on social media too. So because you guys are on Instagram and Facebook, and are you on Twitter? No.
Twitter, LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
LinkedIn Advisor. Google Guides. We're everywhere, man.
Butterfly. They're everywhere. They're everywhere, folks. They're everywhere.
We're everywhere.
Kodak. They're everywhere. But I'm James Lott Jr., of course, and this show is on every streaming platform service for audio. It's on YouTube, my online network, JLJ Media, where I have over 35 shows that range from Star Wars to soap operas and everything in between. Check that out. Subscribe, like, follow. There's a little bell on both our channels. It's like a little bell. You get notifications when a new video comes out. So do that also, or I'll come find you. But just do it. Just do it for be kind. Be kind. Rewind. Right. Just do that. But also support people who are trying to do something fun and positive in the world. We have a lot of negativity going on. They're trying to do something positive. I'm trying to do something positive. And that to me should always be shared. Everyone, please take care of yourselves. Enjoy your grandchildren. And I'll see you next time.